Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Wrestling with Xotics. Think I need to feed you order. That is,
Franchise Jerry.
and we are going to be discussing AEW Revolution 2023.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
bro, this pay-per-view, the builds were not there, but the pay-per-view delivered in itself.
Yeah, because I could not watch any build leading up to this fucking pay-per-view, bro. I just couldn't wait for the pay-per-view to actually happen. And then when I see it,
Literally, you
I'm
said
not
that
as
to me.
hyped.
Yes. Speaking of which, delivery. Ricky Starks delivered 2 times. 2-0 against Chris Jericho. No cheating.
Yeah.
No nothing.
It's honestly insane.
Is he a real star now?
No, because he beat Chris Jericho on his way out. It's clear as day that Chris Jericho is on the back end of his career. So if Ricky Starks really wants to make a name for himself, you got to beat somebody with some more credibility than an aging Chris Jericho.
I 100% agree. I feel as though they did this.
My man can't even do the lion salt no more.
At all. I feel as though Chris only did not win this match because it's been so repetitive in the past year and a half of everybody that's kind of feuded with the JS or him. He hasn't put over, or you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, his Ring of Honor reign with Claudio, he for the most part was the one that was making that championship relevant. It's like I low key miss him as that because the Ring of Honor title doesn't have that prestige now that it's back on Claudio. Even though it's like cool for him to win it, and it's something that one time he never captured. It's something's off about it, and I don't know if he necessarily is a champion like the Ocho can lead them into prosperity. You know what I mean?
Right.
But as far as Ricky Starks go, I agree with you, bro. He did beat a weathered Chris Jericho. This is not like Chris Jericho versus Shawn or like anything like that. Like,
yeah. Or like Chris Jericho in 09.
Yeah, so I just feel like Ricky needed this victory, but like, look, if you would have lost him in the shitter, that's why I feel like Chris Jericho's like, okay, you are a real star, you have potential, so it's gonna look good on me for letting you get over, and at the same time, you can't afford to lose to me. You can't bounce back.
At the same time, that's really saying something about Chris Jericho in this point of his career. The fact that you can take an L and it not look like an L, like is saying something because
Decorated.
Right, let him be any younger and not as decorated. Taking these L's, we'd be looking at him sideways,
like a clown.
Like we look at Jay Lethal.
Oh yeah, because Jay Lethal was in there to take that pin and to make Double J look like a legible Hall of Famer. Look, I got this young, new generation guy following me behind me, doing my moves. He just imitated me when I'm not even nowhere near. He still remind you of me because he hits my strut. It's just asinine.
Whole another level of dick ride.
We'll get to him later on in the show. The next match on this card was Jungle Boy taking on Christian Cage in the final burial match. I really believe this match was needed for Jungle Boy to solidify himself. And I get that they kind of like dragged out the storyline, obviously because Christian got hurt. But I feel like them putting a cap on it right here was perfect because Jungle Boy can't really get past going for championships, being a superstar if he couldn't beat the guy who basically was teaching him that shit and then said he wasn't even ready for that level and picked his team partner over him. So I feel like him burying him was literally the best thing that could have happened.
My biggest takeaway was Christian Cage's fit. My nigga came out with the turtleneck and the cut off sleeves. Like, I ain't never in the history of this world seen some shit like that, bro. I swear to God. But yeah, Jungle Boy definitely, he needed this win. And like Chris Jericho, Christian Cage is well decorated, so it looked good on Jungle Boy's resume for beating him.
Definitely. You can say you beat a full award heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Not too many people in the AEW locker room can say that.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that. Nothing too much to really cover on that. Like we said, Jungle Boy won. He had no choice but to win. My only concern, or not even a concern, just a little funny question I got is, where's Luchasaurus? He's buried, okay? Because he went with the weird nigga, lost with the weird nigga. He's fighting the weird nigga battle and losing, and Jungle Boy put him with that mean elbow off the top of that cage. I ain't seen him in 4 months. He better come back without that mask.
I was just about to say, he's going to come back without that mask on. Watch.
He got to, bro.
We're not even going to recognize him.
He's finished. We don't even recognize him now. We're like, oh, that's that loser's or nigga?
No kizzy.
The following match was for the Trio Championship, and I couldn't wait for this match. It was the Elite taking on the House of Black. Now, me and him talked. We were like, who's gonna win this match? And it was almost 100% on both sides. We said that the House of Black has to win this match.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they did.
Yeah, because if they didn't, that would have been terrible booking.
Terrible booking, and that would have been the final nail in the coffin because the House of Black had been this tag team or trios, I should say, that's been dominant since the moment they all clicked up. So how is it that they so dominant but couldn't win? So
and they got a powerful force in that witch lady that they be using.
Exactly. So it's like all these entities are supposed to be aligning with winning and success. You know what I'm saying? In some type of facet, even if it's dark.
Right.
And it just wasn't adding up. So for them to conquer like the goody two shoe good guy elites in a sense, even though they're kind of heels, I feel like it's like a perfect time for them to win at a pay-per-view. So you're gonna remember this. People are gonna remember this forever. Now I just love that they're gonna be able to carry that aggression because I feel like that was missing. They needed this victory, and if they didn't get it, like how we were saying before, they would have been buried. Like, how do you come back from that? You got all these supernatural entities, and you're not winning, like we said. So
hell yeah, that would be the equivalent of Bray Wyatt coming back and just on the losing streak. We'd be questioning like, what the hell is going on?
Also, I just feel Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks need to be split up because they're a great entity. I feel like this doesn't get talked about enough with them. I feel like they're cooler being social media and like YouTube, and the elite should stay on that and kind of keep them away from trying to do that in the ring and team up together. Yes, they work well together and they all have that same sense of mind, but really and truly, they are better separately. Like Kenny Omega by himself is better, and the Young Bucks by themselves is better. It just is that way, and I like that.
Yeah, and you could tell when you just see them wrestle together.
Because I'm gonna be honest, because like that's why I've been following AEW since the beginning, so I can learn and see these things. Seeing how they didn't acknowledge the elite besides the BTE, which is being the elite, their YouTube series. That's the only time they acknowledged that that was a group of the elite. They didn't start bringing them onto the screen and like showing that they're actually real best friends like that until like I want to say 2021, like 20, like ended that into 2022. And even that was getting overplayed out because once Adam Cole and Bobby Fish and all them came out, they're undisputed elite, and that's why there was so much uncohesion with them trying to write them together. And how are you gonna have all of them with the championships? You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like I said, it's only cool for them to have that clicked up shit backstage. We don't need to see that shit. That's what makes Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Scott Hall and X Pac such a cool thing. The click was a click because no one knew they were actually friends outside that shit except for that hug. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we need to get back to that. So them losing should be the step in the right direction to send the Young Bucks back to the tag team division because you need to turn that division back up. You're too focused on this trio shit. And then Kenny needs to go back to go singles championships. Now he's already the New Japan US champion, which I have no problem with, but I feel like you already held major titles in AEW, so you should go for some mid-card titles. Spice up the international title. You already travel overseas. Go for the TNT title because I've been saying the next person that needs to hold that belt after whoever wins between Wardlow and Samoa Joe, because the winner of that match is going to end up taking on Powerhouse Hobbs on this upcoming Dynamite. I feel like whoever the champion after these initial reigns need to bring some solidarity to the TNT title, and I feel like Kenny is the right person to do that because he's legible. And I don't like seeing him and the Young Bucks teaming up. What about you?
Well, the way I look at it, bro, is with all the talks of Kenny Omega possibly leaving AEW because of his expiring contract, and it seems that the Elite is on the same type of time, we might be having the Elite in WWE sooner than later. So I feel like them losing these belts was a step in that direction. I'm extremely hyped that the House of Black won these belts though, because Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, those are my favorite wrestlers in wrestling right now. They got hard hitting moves. They don't fuck around in the ring, and everything that they do is believable. So AEW really picks some good champions to represent these belts because it's clear that the Elite are definitely better when they're wrestling separately. Like they don't look like they're meant to be in a team for a long period of time. Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black been in a team since WWE, and they still in a team today. And they all they did was add two more people on it. And you see how it's working like a well-oiled machine, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really happy to see them with those belts, and I really think that they're going to turn up that AEW Trios division.
Definitely, bro. As well as like I said, I feel like the House of Black is gonna provide that dominant reign with the trios belt because I feel like it's been kind of it hasn't been hot potato because we know Brawl for Out, the elite, the one they initially wanted, they had to lose it immediately, and then that's how Death Triangle got it. As far as that best of seven goes with the Death Triangle, the elite had to make them look like a legible, upstanding tag team. You have a Death Triangle reign, but you're at the same time you're watching them compete and defend the titles every week or every other week against some phenomenal talent, which is the elite. So that was a credible reign in and of itself because they beat them almost three times. I mean, they
Yeah.
beat them three times. Only needed a fourth, but I feel like with this House of Black, they got to just hold it down all the way. They don't have to be on no competitive match. Everyone they should just blow them out the water.
Hell yeah. Anybody that steps up definitely should be knocked down.
Up next, we got the AEW Women's Championship match featuring Saraya, Jamie Hayter taking on Ruby Soho. Now, I knew Jamie Hayter was gonna win this match, bro. Because
Oh yeah.
Roddy was just on the wall. Like you knew they want to solidify her as a new breakout star and like a homegrown talent that we can be proud of. And
Yeah.
I'm not hating on Jamie because she hits hard, she has a good move set, she does realistic shit, and she's not into the whole talking. She's like, let's get in the ring and let's handle that shit. So we need more wrestlers like that, flat out. What do you think of this?
I don't have no problem with how this match went, and I don't have no problem with Jamie winning. I just didn't want to see Paige involved at all because she just came fresh off an injury. This is probably like her third wrestling match since she's been back, and for her to be thrusted in this position already is kind of unfair to the women in the back. And at the same time, we already knew what was going to happen because no way is she coming back fresh off an injury and doing that to somebody that you just made champion. You know what I'm saying? Like it just the way wrestling works, that wouldn't have been able to go together. So I just didn't like that she was involved. You know what I'm saying? I would have rather just have seen Ruby Soho versus Jamie Hayter.
No cap. I feel like Saraya shouldn't have been exposed to the title picture just as yet. They should have waited a little bit longer with Saraya in the title picture, like continuing to have her build towards it. Like this little group with Tony Storm, I'm not a fan of it, but I feel like that was a good, interesting story. Like, okay, let's see where it goes. Like, but that didn't have to, lead to the title immediately.
Right.
Like, she could have been beating up all the other divas and act like the AEW Women's Champion wasn't a thing until she felt like giving her attention. But I
Right.
feel like they sacrificed it so that way Ruby could turn, and have a plausible reason to turn because they're desperate to make new people stars or new people have some flair to them. So by doing that, they had to just had to sacrifice it. That's why they had to use Ruby to get the pin, though. I mean, to take the pin, so that way, because I know the next time Saraya challenges for that title, she's gonna win it. So
Yeah.
that's why it's like, and she can be like, I didn't lose, and then she probably will win it. The group will be intact, but then it will crumble because she'll be like, Ruby, remember how you started this group because you lost and shit
Mm.
like that.
Yeah, I just hope that it's not anytime soon. Let that be later on down the line.
Yeah, she
Let
does
let
deserve it.
Soraya really earn that first. You know what I'm saying? Before just skipping the
Absolutely.
line because of her name.
Next up on this card, we have my main event in my eyes, really, because Hangman's been having the whole shit down all along, and they've been saying that he can't do it. But what did he do this match? He fucking made John tap out. And if the course you don't know who's in this match, it's Hangman Page, it's John Moxley, it's a Texas death match. This shit got volatile. Had niggas Hangman literally hanged the man, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it was just crazy, bro. What do you think about seeing John like that?
I think John, at this point, he does have a lot of respect for Hangman. So he was like, I'm gonna go ahead and put you over. Cause I already done accomplished more than what you have. And this ain't even my wrestling program. So I'm gonna let you have this one. And I think John Moxley is gonna take his ball and go back home to WWE. I think this match just confirmed that. Cause what else is he gonna do there at AEW, bro? He's done everything there is to fucking do. At this point, he's just putting over talent to build some credibility.
He signed a contract extension, bro. He's not going anywhere.
Shit, that's what they all say, and then we end up seeing them on another program.
We gonna see, because I don't believe that Jon Moxley's here to stay, because that's why he did this. This is one of the peak young AEW rivalries. When I say young, it's not young in between their age, but the company is still young, so we can revisit this rivalry after a lot of time has surpassed, and these two opponents have done other shit, like developed more credibility in their own right in separate ways. Like John could go win, well, who knows? Like I'm saying, the TNT title needs more credibility. He could start go challenging that, or international title, or he could start tag team title, because he's only won the AEW World title. So
I think John is like kind of realizing that, damn, I really sent myself back to JV. Like, bro, isn't that some crazy shit?
Bro,
you balled your entire life to be on varsity, and then you went back to JV, and then you beat up on everybody in JV because your big adult ass is just over there showing out when you should be on varsity. Motherfuckers over here playing with teenagers, and he got a whole beard. Like, bro, stop. So that's why
the teenagers at? They no teenagers.
Hey man, he's like, here, come on, take it from me, Sonny. Somebody got to do it.
What?
Pro wrestling, right?
Fuck that. Hangman choked John.
Nah, okay, like, look. That is true, bro, and I was not obviously hyped to watch that match and see the way it ended. And the writing was on the wall before the fucking match started, bro. At the end of the day, that's AEW talent. So this whole pay-per-view was basically centered around getting AEW talent over, because they've been losing the WWE talent for so damn long. You know what I'm saying? So this loss, it just made sense. And at the same time, it's no sweat off of Jon Moxley, because he's twice as accomplished than Hangman ever will be.
I don't know about that.
Hangman is not going to WWE and becoming a Grand Slam champion and then going back to another lower promotion and become a world heavyweight champion, not once but twice within 3 years. So yeah, Jon Moxley got 3 world championships, bro. He that guy. Like, he ain't got nothing to worry about. He's a Grand Slam champion over there in WWE. United States Championship, Intercontinental Championship, Tag Team Championships, World Heavyweight Championship. And then he comes over to AEW and wins the World Heavyweight Championship 3 out of the 4 years. He ain't got nothing to worry about when it comes to Hangman. He gonna go ahead and hang that side of his career up, and he about to transition back over here to varsity. Well, hopefully.
Yeah, pray. I don't think that's going down though. They're not gonna let him bleed. He ain't into that.
WWE was just talking about how we about to bring that blood back. Ric Flair, he told MJF, "Hey, you really want to impress somebody? Cut yourself so deep when you shake your hair, blood splatters all on them." I was like, "Okay, nigga, you're crazy." That was the cocaine talking.
Yo, what? See now, he's a CTE kicking his ass. Anyway, though, as you can tell by that somber demeanor over there, Hangman won this match. But leading into not so grander things, it was Wardlow taking on Samoa Joe for the TNT Championship. I'm not a fan of this. Wardlow should not. The ending of this match was horrible. Wardlow should no way, shape, or form try to choke Samoa Joe out.
With his own move.
I've been watching Samoa Joe wrestle for damn near 15 years. How is it that I ain't never seen nobody that was even equally as skilled as Joe put his move on him and choke him out. Now I want to believe Mr. Powerbomb Symphony over here, he studying Joe because he cut his ponytail and put him out. No, that doesn't work like that.
Yeah, bro, I wasn't fucking with that shit, bro, because I'm just like, why are they hell bent on pushing this nigga who looked like he played with porn stars with fake body parts? Like, I'm just like, Warlow is a whack ass champion, bro. I don't want to see that.
Like his moment is past. That also stamps how I feel about MJF because at the same time they were like MJF made his career, made it was fucked up for what he did to him, and he still put him over. That was a squash match technically, so Wardlow's supposed to take the momentum no matter how you want to play it, and supposed to be that guy. Wardlow has his priorities fucked up because his first ever pay per view as the TNT champion, he decides to be in a trios match with FTR taking on the Motor City Machine Guns with Jay Lethal instead of defending that title and putting some respect on his name along as well the prestige of that belt. So I never really saw him as somebody as a champion because he's still trying to find himself, and then they did give him a chance, which was cool. But that also leads me to my next point of how MJF is established in the ring and on the microphone for someone who's so young. You know what I mean? Because look at Wardlow, he's floundering. MJF cussed out his boss. He left. It was a big gap. He could have lost that momentum, but nah. And even when people still are trying to hate on him, he still come through. Whether it's a fire match or a fire promo or just to get underneath somebody's skin by just an action real quick, and that's 5 minutes on the screen. He's doing what he needs to do to get himself there. You know what I'm saying? And now we got the main event of Revolution. It was the AEW World Champion MJF taking on the most gifted technical wrestler in the history of professional wrestling, Bryan Danielson. And it was a 60-man minute Iron Man match. And we know who the victor was, who I said it was going to go out. In fact, I got the shirt on right now. Generational talent. He's proven it every time he stepped foot in that ring. 4-3, MJF won. Sudden death overtime is what was needed for this match to come to an end. Overall, I feel like every time MJF is put in one of these type of matches, he shows his depth. Yes, and he still is going to cheat because he's going to show you with all costs, I'm gonna try to get this win. I can't afford not to try my best at every option within the present time. He's not gonna wait for it to be like, oh well, I could have just played it safe and been up for right guy, and he'll lose when he can be like, nah, I screwed you over, but I still won because I'm better than you.
Right.
So his character is intact. He won in like such a fashion that was so MJF like, but the main takeaway I took away from this was the match he put on with Bryan Danielson. The whole match, he's matching him with technical moves. He's doing Daniel's moves on him. Overall, my main takeaway from this match was that MJF is proving that he has the ability to have technical bouts and that he's a serious, legitimate wrestler. And all the people who are doubting him or trying to make it seem as though he can't wrestle, it's getting to the point of that's your personal opinion on him because you don't like him. Like I said, an opinion because it's not a fact. Because indeed he can wrestle, and I'll speak from experience. He'll say a lot of people in AEW's locker room they feel like they need to be polished. MJF doesn't have a match where he's botching a bunch of shit or doing a bunch of regular things. I watched a match he had with I believe it was Takeshita, and he did a full on backflip and landed on his feet. MJF's not no high flyer. He's never even showed us exposed himself to the top rope. So for him to pull that out on live television, especially with someone like Takeshita, who he could just easily play it safe with, shows me that he has depth in wrestling and like he says he is a special attraction, and that's because he's making himself one. I do wish sometimes he would wrestle more and more, but it's like it's adding to his character. So I get why he's doing it. What do you think about this match?
I didn't fuck with this match like that, man. If I'm being honest. Yeah, MJF proved that he can wrestle. At the same time, Daniel lost to someone again he should have been beating. You talked all that shit about real wrestling and all this shit on WWE, and then you go over here and you're doing the same shit you was doing over there. You just putting people over and losing, bro, and talking shit. Like maybe it is time for you to go home, or maybe this confirms Bryan Danielson going back to WWE. One or the other. I would much rather see him go back to WWE if that is the case, because it's like, yeah, Roman's on his way out. You're still a wrestling machine. I know you brought up your kid and all that other shit. let's be honest. You want to wrestle? You end up putting niggas in headlocks and
Look
ankle
at
locks and shit.
to breed to understand.
You're not trying to be at home changing diapers and shit, man. So, yeah, I can see DB coming on back to WWE. Overall, I didn't really care for this match because we just already knew the outcome. We know what they're trying to accomplish with MJF. I didn't want to see Daniel Bryan in this position right now because, again, we already knew what was going to happen. And I just wish they would have waited later on down the line and had Daniel Bryan take it away from him. Because then that would have been more believable and it would have been cooler for me to see. But congratulations to MJF, I guess. He did have one hell of a funny ass press conference. Like, probably one of the funniest ones I've ever seen. This is the first time I've ever seen someone do a press conference while gripping pickles and disrespecting the interviewers. Like, I've never seen that before, so I thought that was pretty funny.
He definitely has an interesting way of blurring the lines of his character between the Max, the real person, and Max and MJF. And I just think watching him, his demeanor with those pickles was just funny as hell. He told the man, "Hey, dipshit, try pickle. Great deal, huh?"
Like,
Like,
that was so
yes,
sus.
but he's like, it's just funny as hell because he's like the typical Jewish white prick. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about what he thinks. He just wants to say whatever the fuck he wants to say and get paid a lot of money to be himself. And honestly, it's like the perfect character because this reign of terror he's speaking of, it could be kind of Triple H esque because a lot of people wanted Triple H to lose his World Heavyweight title between 2002 2003, and Triple H was not going for it. So I feel like MJF is in that. The only thing is, MJF is way more exciting wrestler. I can't lie. Triple H does what he would slam people around all the time. Half the fun of Triple H of MJF is he's by himself and you're trying to catch him. At least he don't have. He's like, I don't need nobody. I don't need a group,
I
and that's
feel
one
like
thing I
Triple
respect him.
H was more witty on the microphone. Like, he could come out and diss the hell out of anybody and it'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like I, it depends. Like I feel like okay, yeah, he's more witty because he doesn't have to. I feel like Triple H doesn't have to be as explicit because MJF is definitely more explicit. He more pushes the lines in a certain sense.
Yeah, because you can't really talk. He's like, I'm gonna use these big cuss words and all this other shit to get your attention. This white boy rage, this white boy rage is gonna get your attention.
He could talk, but the white boy rage just fucking marks.
Because anytime he talks like regular or something, like nobody be listening to that shit. He's gotta disrespect a certain group of people. He's gotta throw a few cuss words in there just to really get anybody's attention.
This is edgy.
Yeah, one thing that really disappointed me overall was not only did Brian Danielson lose, but he ended up doing an interview and basically talking about picking up his ball and going home. And he basically tapped out for his kids. I don't want to fucking hear that shit. You made it that far to tap out for your kid? Fuck no. After all of that brutal punishment that MJF put you through, you're gonna stop fighting because your kid? I thought that was just some bullshit to say. And that's also what's leading me to believe that he's still gonna be wrestling after this, just probably not for AEW.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty weird. I think Dana doesn't know what to do with his career. He wants to be a successful, high caliber wrestler, but at the same time, he be saying like he want to wrestle in front of 300 people and he want to lose all the time. So then I think you need to just figure out that you need to win. You need to win, bro. It matters about winning. I know you want to be a good technical wrestler, but how can you back it up if you never win?
No cap. He wins, but he never wins the big one. You know what I'm saying? He'll beat all the mid card people, but when it comes to that main title match, he just never gets the job done.
Absolutely not. He loses all the time, and even to John Moxley, he be loses. So it doesn't even seem like he's in the Blackpool Combat Club right now. So he's at a weird place in his career, like an edgy, unrealistic winning loner. And that's been our review of Revolution 2023, taking place in San Francisco, the Bay Area. What would you overall rate this page for you?
It seemed to have a lot of action. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. That's solid. Coming from him, high esteem. He's not too fond of the AEW product. For me, I could honestly say the same because I won't say like the Jungle Boy match I didn't care for, but it needed to be done so that way he can elevate himself.
Yeah.
As well as the Wardlow and Samoa Joe match. I feel like those two matches in and of itself, I get they had somewhat kind of build, but could have been left off of it because it kind of felt like that was like 2022's problem. Now, let me get to 2023. I felt like John Moxley and Hangman stole the show. And I feel like both of those wrestlers, as you touched on earlier, like have a newfound respect for each other. I can't wait to see what the future holds for both of them, whether it be their path cross again or it's just they never speak about this again. But this is one of the young AEW rivalries in this company's history that we can look forward to at another time in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They can also expect Hangman to possibly be going against MJF for that AEW championship.
Definitely, because MJF said that Hangman is scared, and I don't know how Hangman's gonna react to that quite well. But
you got CTE, that boy crazy.
No cap. As well as I feel like the women could have been highlighted a little bit more in this pay-per-view, and I felt like it's time for Jay to just drop that title or just retire it, or either that or go on to start feeling like I want to be a dual champion. Like I could do both of this shit because no one could beat me. But it's like I don't want them to sacrifice Jamie Hayter. But at the same time, Jay shouldn't be left off of pay-per-views because she is money. You know what I'm saying? The streak is everything. Is
Yeah,
she
and she
injured?
keeps defending her belt against Scrubs, and that shit is getting annoying to watch. Because it's like, no, you got to stop bragging about your win streak when it's just against Scrubs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Overall, like you said, we both said 4 out of 5. That's been our review of AEW Revolution. It's your boy. Think I need a Fiji water.
And your guy, Franchise Jerry. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, man.
Share this shit with the world, y'all.
And also make sure you guys turn on your post notifications so you know every time we drop a track, man. Peace.